But there's really no way for you to guarantee that Hamas isn't in those.
Well, as you say, there's the unknown unknown and the known unknown. Anytime you have a group of people in the United States that we don't know nearly enough about, that is a source of concern for us from a perspective in our lane of protecting Americans here.
That was FBI Director Christopher Wray testifying on Capitol Hill on Wednesday, admitting that he cannot locate known terrorists who are likely already in the country due to President Biden's wide-open southern border policy. He does not know where they are. That's it. Known, unknown, sources within Customs and Border Protection telling Fox News there are already more than 45,000 known gotaways for this fiscal year, and over 1.6 million that have disappeared into the United States under the Biden administration. Of course, this does not account for the unknown number of people who avoided detection altogether, crossing illegally and have vanished into the country. We have no idea where they are and who they are. This comes at a time Wray is warning Americans of the elevated risk of a terrorist attack inside the United States, claiming that it's because of the war on Israel and its retaliation against Hamas terrorists, if you can believe that one. A new Fox News poll shows 73% of registered voters are concerned about a possible attack by Islamic terrorists in the United States. That's up 23% from May of this year. Later today, former President Trump will be visiting the southern border to meet with Texas Governor Greg Abbott in honor of the men and women on the front lines of Biden's border crisis. We're talking with one of them right now. Joining me now with more are Georgia Congresswoman Marjorie Taylor Greene and Texas Department of Public Safety Lieutenant Christopher Olivares. Congresswoman Greene is the author of the new book, MTG, which takes a look at the inner workings of Congress. That book is available everywhere this Tuesday. Thank you both for being here. I so appreciate your time. Christopher Olivares, I want to begin with you. Thank you for your service to our great country. You are on the front lines of this fight. Can you assess the southern border today? What are you seeing?
Well, good morning, Maria. Of course, we've been talking, you and I, for the last 3 years. Of course, the numerous times that you have visited the border, and we know for a fact that the border continues to get much worse. Especially in terms of not just mass illegal immigration, but gotaways, known gotaways. What's truly stunning and shocking with that response, that video you played earlier right now from the director of FBI, is that they do not know if the threat is here. Well, I can tell you for a fact the threat is here. The threat has been here. When you know for a fact that there has been individuals from other countries that have ties to terrorism that have been apprehended at the border, over 170 last fiscal year. That is more than combined in the last 6 years. And the fact that now, for the first 6 weeks of this fiscal year, there are over 47,000 known gotaways. That is truly concerning as a country. The fact that these are truly national and public safety threats. And the fact of the matter is that our own federal government is not doing nothing to stop this. And we talk about the dereliction of duty. It is evident for the last 3 years there is a complete dereliction of duty. When you see all these different concerns and threats to public safety and national security, not only with those that have ties to terrorism, Chinese nationals, the gotaways, criminals from other countries that have violent backgrounds, cartel members, and threats to the American people, fentanyl that's coming across our borders, that's killing tens of thousands of Americans every single year. The fact of the matter is we need some change right now, because again, the question is how long can we sustain this situation around the border? I can tell you for a fact, from an operational perspective, we're doing as much as we can in Texas, but the American people, this is not sustainable, and it's going to have a detrimental impact in the future for our country.
I want to get your take on a couple of parts to this story. I'm going to get to MTG in a second, but Christopher, you just mentioned Chinese nationals. We have a graphic here. When you look at the number of Chinese nationals that have entered the country just in October alone, there's 4,500 just from the southern border, but then there's thousands more at the ports of entry. It's totaling more than 7,000 people from China have entered America in 1 month, in the month of October. Now, to be clear, I don't think you can just pick up and leave China and go to America without getting approval. Mark Greene, the head of the Homeland Security Committee, told me he thinks these people are being directed by the CCP to come into America to become saboteurs. Tell me about that. Are these largely military-aged men? What can you tell us about these people who are coming into America right now?
Well, for the most part, Maria, they are military-aged men. We've seen it for a fact. I mean, I've experienced it myself, being on the front lines when I'm out there with Border Patrol and our troopers are apprehending these individuals. They're paying top dollar. You're talking anywhere from $35,000 to $60,000 a person to get from China to the United States. And we know a lot of that's being funded by the Mexican drug cartels. They're able to skyrocket their profits more than ever before because this is being allowed. Now, the way the process works is Chinese nationals are able to fly from China to Ecuador without a visa. Once they get to Ecuador, they follow the same process as any other illegal immigrant or coming from Central America to the United States. They either do it by ground or by transit, whether it be train or boat. But once they get to Mexico, they are then smuggled further into the interior of the United States. And that's where we see this large amount of Chinese nationals coming across, because there is no deterrence to stop it.
Yeah. Congresswoman Marjorie Taylor Greene, you brought a bill to the floor to try to impeach Alejandro Mayorkas, partly because of what you're hearing from Christopher Olivares, all of these people coming into the border. Why are they allowing this, and what happened with your bill?
Well, 8 Republicans joined with the Democrats, Maria, to kill the articles of impeachment I brought to the floor against Secretary Mayorkas, and it's absolutely outrageous. I serve on the Homeland Committee. We have had hearing after hearing, listening to parents cry over their children murdered by fentanyl. I mean, we are wondering how many dead American bodies are going to have to pile up before Republicans in Congress get serious about impeaching Secretary Alejandro Mayorkas. And the lieutenant here has told everyone the numbers and the statistics. Our country is in severe danger of having a terrorist attack right on our homeland, as Americans are killed daily by the cartels flooding our country with illegal aliens. But Americans called and called. They flooded those congressmen's office with phone calls demanding impeachment of Mayorkas. And Maria, I will bring my articles of impeachment back to the floor after we get back from the Thanksgiving break. And this time, the Republicans in Congress better deliver different results. Mayorkas must be impeached, and the invasion must stop.
Okay, so you're going to try again after Thanksgiving. But, Congresswoman, do you have any sense of why 8 Republicans stopped you? I thought the GOP was all in agreement that the wide-open border is a massive national security threat.
We are in agreement. My articles of impeachment against Mayorkas have been sitting in committee on a shelf collecting dust. 4 of the 8 Republicans that voted with Democrats serve on the Judiciary Committee, and that showed that they aren't really for impeachment like they say they are. They were claiming they wanted the committee process, but they're not bringing the committee process when the articles of impeachment are sitting there not moving through committee. 3 of the other 8 Republicans were chairmen on powerful committees. And this is a failure. And this is what voters need to understand, that we need Republicans in Congress that are willing to hold people accountable, not just talk the tough talk on TV and have 5-minute hearings and write strongly worded letters. We have the lieutenant and his men are on the front lines every day. We have people that are murdered working for America, trying to defend our country, from Border Patrol to ICE to law enforcement. And Americans are suffering this, and we're on the verge of having a terrorist attack on our own soil. Maria, we have to hold Mayorkas accountable. He must be impeached, and we have to continue to go after the Biden administration for this failure to protect our country.
I'm baffled as to why he refuses to protect America. Christopher, what's the process when you actually get these people apprehended at the border? Are they just processed and led into America? And what about these people who are on the terrorist watch list? What happens?
Well, I can tell you for a fact, obviously our focus as a Texas law enforcement agency is to focus on those criminal smugglers, the drug dealers, cartel members, all these special interest people that are coming across our borders that pose a threat to public safety. Now, for the most part, when we come across illegal immigrants, we turn them over to Border Patrol. Now, I can tell you by speaking with Border Patrol agents, for the process is they pretty much turn them over and release them into the country. If there's any type of, alerts that have any type of criminal backgrounds. But the issue is this, Maria, and the American people may not understand this. The fact is that a lot of these individuals that are coming across from these different countries, especially from special interest countries, there's really no way to properly vet these individuals because agents are so overwhelmed right now, and then they release them into the country. And we've seen that for a fact. We've seen several incidents where they may come across an individual. There's no type of alerts, any type of signs of terrorism. They release them into the country, and then we find out days later or weeks later they actually did have some type of ties to terrorism, or they were wanted for murder from another country. So we have it's evident we have a complete flawed system in trying to vet these individuals. That's why it's so concerning when you look at the number of gotaways and the number of people that have been released to the country.
Congresswoman, are you expecting an attack on America?
I am expecting an attack on America, and it should have never, ever happened, Maria. The Biden administration is to blame, and Mayorkas, he's already got enough blood on his hands. He must be impeached.
Thank you very much. We'll be watching all of that and, of course, your efforts to impeach him. Congresswoman Marjorie Taylor Greene and Texas Department of Public Safety Lieutenant Christopher Olivares. Thank you. Quick break, and then Chinese President